Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 13th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Emma Ively. Links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 13, Momo vs Tokoyami and Achiko vs Bakugo. Before Momo's fight was however a fight between Mina and Aoyama. Before it Izuku was muttering to himself with his notebook. Is he like that in therapy? Suyu asked Mashireo and Achiko. Sometimes, sighed Mashireo. Never with the notebook though, sighed Achiko. And soon enough the fight began. It was standard at first, then it got embarrassing. Mina started to dissolve Aoyama's belt, which not only held up his pants but helped him with his quirk. Of course his pants fell down and he admitted defeat thanks to the weakness in his quirk. It allows him to shoot laser from his belly button, but it gives him a tummy ache. Oh man, why couldn't it Mina who lost her pants? Seriously, yelled Mineta. Kyoka and Suyu played rock, paper, scissors and Suyu won, hitting him with her tongue. Soon enough it was Momo against Tokoyami. However Izuku put away his notebook. Good, the notebook is away, said Mashireo with a sweat drop. Well, if Momo does what she perfected in our training, then Tokoyami doesn't stand a chance, said Izuku. Oh yeah, you two trained together, said Sato. Izuku nodded. There was something I helped her practice with when she wasn't helping me train, he explained. Why did you train together anyway? Asked Kyoka. No reason at all, laughed Izuku. Does it have to do with why you couldn't hit that villain while you were out of it? Said Sato. You knew about that, said Izuku. We were there, you know, pointed out Sato. Were you trying to get over that? Asked Shoji. Yeah, sighed Izuku. I was taught in my past life not to hit women. It nearly killed me multiple times. Really? Give me the details, said Mineta. Kyoka jammed him with her earphone jacks. That's really pathetic, said Bakugo. But of course Izuku ignored him. You think that was good training, Yomomo? Asked Kyoko, using a nickname for Momo. It was, and like I said, I helped her work on something, said Izuku. As the two competitors onto the battlefield, Momo looked at her opponent. He is both skilled in attack and defense, she thought, but so am I. If I manage to create it right when the match starts, I can win this. Begin the match. Momo immediately took off her top, revealing nothing but her bra. Trying to fluster me won't work, said Tokoyami, summoning Dark Shadow. That's not what I was trying to do, called out Momo, creating a flash grenade. She activated, blinding everyone from seeing what she was doing. Did you tell her to use that? Asked Achiko. No, said Izuku, she just needs time for her plan to work. She tried using a smoke bomb, but it didn't work as well. When the flash finally dissipated, Tokoyami saw what Momo did. She was now decked out in armor that just covered her upper torso, and in her hands was something similar to a shurnai but clearly not made of bamboo. In the box, the class was amazed. How did she make that? Asked Achiko. What I was helping her with was getting the timing right, said Izuku. She has to create the armor piece by piece, then put it together properly as quickly as possible. The reason why she didn't use a smoke bomb, said Mashireo. Because it made her cough a lot, said Izuku, but with this, she practiced with her eyes closed. But the fact she created a flash grenade, said Achiko. Yeah, said Izuku. Kota began to sign to them. Yeah, he told us when we teamed up, said Izuku. Kota nodded, figuring out what Izuku figured out. Why, what's going on? Asked Kyoka. On the battlefield, Dark Shadow began to whimper. Fumikage. I'm scared, it cried out. What? Said Momo, shocked. I take it you didn't know, said Tokoyami, embarrassed by this turn of events. It didn't even cross my mind, said Momo, blushing, though in hindsight it would make sense for dark shadow to be weakened by light. Tokoyami nodded. However, I'm still going to give it my all, said Momo. She ran towards Tokoyami with her sword and began relentlessly attacking both Tokoyami with dark shadow. However, due to the shape that dark shadow was in, he knew he couldn't keep it up. Dark shadow did manage to push Momo back a bit, but it was only a few feet and nowhere near the boundary. But it was only way he could do this. I give up, said Tokoyami. Fumikichi Tokoyami has given up. Momo Yaoyorozu is moving up to the next round. In the box, almost everyone was amazed by the fighting. Since when Yaoyorozu do that? Asked Sato. When she got her past life memories, said Kyoka. Oh yeah, weren't you with her when she was out of it? Asked Tsuyu. Yeah, you with Midoriya, said Kyoka. I was, but he hasn't shown off what he can do, said Tsuyu. Izuku was blushing at this a little. Achiko sighed and got up, quietly, and left the box. Everyone noticed the way she left. Mashireo and Izuku nodded and waited a bit until following her. Meanwhile, in the hallway, Ida was walking. Ida! Called out a voice. He turned around and saw it was a certain gym uniform, which is probably the best description at the moment. Sorry about how I acted back there, said Toru. It's okay, Hagakure, said Ida, you did have a point. He was hurting, said Toru, the stress gets to us sometimes. I completely understand, said Ida, dealing with everything must be hard. Sometimes, but that's just me, said Toru, but I had an easier past life than he did. That does make sense, said Ida. Anyways, I'm pretty sure everyone's worried about Achiko, said Toru. Wait, how do you know that? Asked Ida. I would tell you, but the last time I told someone who uptight they went insane, said Toru. What? Asked Ida. You don't want to know, said Toru. In the waiting room, Izuku and Mashireo arrived. You okay? Asked Izuku. I'm fine, said Achiko, making a pretty terrifying face. That doesn't look okay, said Mashireo with a sweat drop. Achiko sighed. That was when Ida, Toru, and Momo all entered. You had a great match, said Achiko. Thanks, but a good part of it was luck, said Momo. I didn't know that he was weak to light. But you still used your past life skills to beat him, sighed Achiko. She looked at her hands. Your quirk makes up for what you lost, mine doesn't, she said. I just have to try hardest. Maybe he will go easy on you for being a girl, said Ida. Everyone in the room looked at Ida like he just said something stupid. What? He asked. It's okay. You don't know, sighed Izuku. You know you're so amazing, Deku, sighed Achiko. What? Asked Izuku, going to love mode. When I said we should team up because we're friends, I don't know, maybe I was saying it so you could help me, said Achiko, sighing as she got up. Is this another rival declaration? Sighed Izuku as he snapped out of it. Maybe, said Achiko. Enough is enough, yelled Aiko from Achiko's pocket, causing everyone to sweat drop. She took out the tracker and saw that the Aiko button had been pushed. He has had it with these monkey fighting rivals in this Monday to Friday school, yelled Aiko. Also, please be careful with sitting down or getting up when the tracker is in your pocket. I hate it when you guys but summon me. Achiko looked at the embarrassed faces of the other tracker holders while Mashireo was confused. You've all but summoned her before too, haven't you? Asked Achiko. The four nodded. She made fun of my room, sighed Izuku. She did the same to me, said Momo. I don't want to say what she said to me, said Ida. She asked me if I went around naked in my house, sighed Toru. I don't want to know, do I? Asked Mashareo. No. The five at the same time. Back to what I was saying, said Achiko. You're so strong and you're always helping me, but I have to figure it out on my own. I know that, said Izuku. I just wanted to give you emotional support. Oh, said Achiko with a sweat drop. I thought it was to give me advice about fighting him. I only know about your quirk. I don't know what you gained from your past life, said Izuku. But I have to beat him, said Achiko, becoming determined. No matter what, I can't let him get away with it. Izuku froze when she said that. No, he said. What? Asked Achiko. You should be fighting for yourself, not me, said Izuku. Said Achiko, blushing. You said it out loud, said Izuku. Oh, said Achiko. I know what he did was terrible, but it's not your fight, it's mine, said Izuku. I can't help it, said Achiko. We're your friends, all of us wants a piece of him. Izuku turned around and saw the other three all had looks on their faces. Well, it was hard to tell from Toru, but her body language said it. Izuku sighed. Weren't you just declaring you're my rival? Yeah, you're kind of sending mixed messages right now, said Toru. Look, it's complicated, okay, said Achiko. I do want to be your rival, but at the same time, what he did to you, he can't get away with it. Izuku sighed. He knew from his past life that true friends did this stuff. You're right, sighed Izuku. Just be careful. What are you talking about? Said Ida, finally speaking up. Izuku sighed. Oh, said Toru. It's okay. I was planning on telling him eventually, said Izuku. Just a second though. He took out his tracker and pressed the Aiko button. How much time do you think we have until Achiko's fight? Asked Izuku. Hopefully still a while. These two are ridiculously similar, said Aiko. Reminder: the match was Kirishima versus Tetsu. They were just so similar that they would end up fighting to a stalemate. No, really. I'll give you the short version, just in case Aiko's wrong, said Izuku. Wait, you going to tell him? I'll inform Hibiki when I am able to, said Aiko. Izuku nodded as Aiko left the device, then explained about how in past life as a child he was bullied by his brothers for not having any powers and how history repeated itself, explaining how his quirk came late in life. Of course, at the end of it, Ida had the dark look on his face, but it was clear, much like everyone else who knew about it, he wanted a piece of Bakugo. I see, he muttered. Maybe you should have explained it after the tournament, said Mashareo. Yeah, said Izuku. Achiko hit the Aiko button. They're about to do a double knockout, from what I can tell, said Aiko, but I think you can waste a minute. I have a way to get rid of your nervousness. Achiko heard her phone nearby ding. She went to pick it up. What is it? Asked Achiko. You'll see, said Aiko. Of course, it was the video from earlier. The others also saw it over her shoulder, with Toru laughing, both Izuku and Momo face-palming, and Ida yelling that is inappropriate to be viewed on school grounds. Achiko, on the other hand, laughed really hard. Yeah, thought you would appreciate it, said Aiko. Good luck. Achiko took a breath as she put her phone away. Deku, said Achiko, let's meet in the finals. Achiko, sighed Momo. She sweat dropped. And I'll beat you, Momo, to get there, said Achiko. Izuku sighed as she left. Come on, we should watch the match, said Momo. Wait, said Ida, just one more thing I have to know. Izuku knew it, but had to be what he told them. Did you ever escape? He asked. You don't need to ask that question, said Izuku with a smile. Ida nodded. In the teacher's box, Hibiki was sighing, mostly because Aiko was laughing a lot. That fight. There's so many I can make, said Aiko. Aiko, said Hibiki. Yeah. I already know, I had to be in 2 places at once. Said Aiko, not really a problem, I don't know what my limits are, but I know the next fight is not going to be a good one. You're worried about the next fight? Asked 13. I can't talk about why, said Hibiki, confidentiality. 13 nodded. But I will say this, Achiko is not going to be happy during this fight, sighed Hibiki. 6 students are not happy with Bakugo, and 2 have already been knocked out, said Aiko. Wait. 6, said Hibiki. Headphones, said Aiko. Hibiki put on his headphones. He told class rep about history repeating itself, said Aiko. Good, responded Hibiki. He already knew that the 2 were good friends, and would have hated for them to drift apart because of the reincarnation. He took off his headphones. You spoke in code, said Hibiki. Who knows, it might get out somehow, said Aiko. Good point, said Hibiki. And soon the 2 competitors got to the battlefield. The 2 glared at each other. Bakugo was somehow taken aback by the glare, due to its harshness. Figured that I'd have to fight a member of the Reincarnation Club first thing, said Bakugo. Achiko's glare intensified. As the competitors were introduced by Present Mike, he admitted he wanted Achiko to win. In the Class 1A box, they all didn't know how to respond to that blatant favoritism. Seriously? Asked Momo. He basically flipped everyone off with the speech, can you blame him? Said Kaminari, speaking of which, I don't know if anyone's seen this yet, but I found this video. I know that video. Don't you shouldn't be watching it on school ground, said Ida. So you saw it? Laughed Kaminari. Ida blushed at this. Should we tell Aiko it's getting around? Asked Toru. No, she'll get a swelled head, said Mashireo. But she doesn't have a head, pointed out Toru. You know what I meant, muttered Mashireo. Meanwhile, on the battlefield. And begin. She ran towards him very quickly. However, Bakugo was ready for it, aiming for an attack. However, Achiko dodged without seeing her doing that. What? Thought Bakugo. In the Class 1A box. Whoa! She's fast, yelled Kaminari. She is the reincarnation of a ninja, said Tokoyami. Back on the battlefield, Bakugo tried to attack her again, but she managed to easily dodge again. It was clear she was too fast for him. However, back in the box, Izuku was concerned. Is something wrong? Asked Momo. I don't know how long she can keep dodging. Izuku, Bakugo had an advantage the longer the battle goes on. Oh yeah, his palms sweat, right? Asked Toru. Yeah, the more he fights the more he sweats, said Izuku. But from the way she's moving she has a plan, said Mashireo. Toru giggled and moved her arm up, they assumed she was pointing up. Everyone in the box looked up and were surprised. Izuku slipped into Sanji mode as he smirked, that idiot isn't going to notice it until it's too late. However, it was clear that the rest of the crowd didn't notice Achiko's plan. However, Bakugo was of course unaware. I should have known someone who refuses to fight back was friends with Deku, said Bakugo, glaring at her. He tried to attack her again, but of course she dodged. However, she couldn't help but to fire back that time. You're a horrible person, you know that, right? As it slipped out of her mouth. This made him so angry that the blast was much bigger than before. This time she was unable to dodge. Those in the Class 1A box flinched when that happened. Oh no, whispered Toru. It's still in the air though, said Mashireo. When the dust cleared from the explosion, Achiko managed to get up. Someone like you will never understand, said Achiko. Understand what? He demanded as he set off another explosion. But thankfully this one didn't caught her by surprise, so she was able to dodge. Achiko just glared at him. She looked up and smiled. I think that's enough, she said rather coldly. Release. Baku blinked at what going on. Then a rock fell next to him. He looked up and stared at the sight. Only a few in the stadium had noticed what she was doing. Monoma noticed and bragged about to his classmates. As did Aizawa and Hibiki, and by extension Aiko. However, most of the stadium were yelling out in shock. Turned out Achiko's plan was for Bakugo to destroy the stage just enough to create chunks that she would float and then drop down when the time was right. In the teacher's box, Hibiki cheered. Yeah, that's my girl, cheered Hibiki. You know, what's going to happen if two of your students face off? Asked Power Loader. Hibiki just froze when he said that. Yeah, he can't handle that logic bomb right now, said Aiko. The other teachers stared at the device on Hibiki's belt. Yes, I am aware of the irony of the situation, said Aiko. Please don't point it out. On the battlefield, Achiko launched herself right at him, ready for the final move. However, she had extremely bad timing as right before she was able to strike, Bakugo blasted away the artificial meteor shower with a huge explosion, and Achiko was caught up in it. She was sent flying and landed hard on the ground. And it was clear she wasn't moving. Midnight went to check on her. Achiko Uraraka has been knocked out. Katsuki Bakugo goes on to the next round, she called out. The box in Class 1A was quiet, especially the four in the group. And with that the final round and mostly done. They still had to settle the fight between Kirishima and Tetsu. However, the first round of the finals were over, and unfortunately out of the in the group, only two would go on to the next round, and even more unfortunately, Bakugo would continue on. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 14. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.